tutorial. I haven't done many of these, so bear with me. In this one, what I'm wanting to do is demonstrate how you can capture real-world terrain and height maps for use in World Machine, and in particular the Squad SDK. The benefit of doing this is you can capture a specific real-world height map, throw it into the SDK, and have the luxury of a material that you can just apply over the top of that to allow for accurate asset placement. So for anyone who's interested in doing real-life accurate mapping for the game Squad, this is a little tip that will help you out. First of all, just to get started, the programs you'll need, obviously the SDK and the World Machine editor. I also use Photoshop. This one's just OBS for the tutorial. This is Map Puzzle. I'll get into what that does in a minute. Obviously Google Earth and a website called Terrain Party. So what I've done in advance is I've gone into Google Earth, I've had a bit of a browse, and I've found a little area in Afghanistan. I've pinned it here. It's called Merka. And I'll just zoom in on this one. Nice little valley, some mountains to the side. We've got some compound activity through the area here, so that'll make some good firefights. And there's a little bit of elevation and depth to this one. So I've gone to myself, yep, that's an area I would like to capture. I'm going to zoom out to about 8 kilometres. So I'll just give myself a bit of perspective there on what I'm looking at. Also making sure that I have, just for my own reference, the map facing true north. So the first thing I'll need to do is obviously work out where this is to capture the height map. And what I've done is I've had to translate that into a website called Terrain Party. The URL just up the top there, so it's not too hard. And you can scroll all over the world, and this is a height map capture program. What I've been clever enough to do prior to starting this recording is I've actually got a little 18 kilometre grid square set up. You can change the size. I like 18, that's the highest it will capture. And in here is where Merka is. I've used some references like Warduck and down the bottom there Ghazi, the roads and rivers and so forth, to pretty much accurately gauge where my capture should be. I won't get into too many specifics, but if I look through here, you can see I've got river lines, the boundary borders. They're a little bit faint, so I apologise for that. And up the top there, it did have it, doesn't anymore. There's Warduck, and then I've got down the bottom Ghazi, and if we look up here, we've got Kabul. If I translate that to here, we've got Ghazni, Wardak, Kabul, and trust me, that's the area that I want to be capturing. So I've got all that sorted out, ready to go for you. I'll just zoom back in here for a bit of, there we go, a bit of atmosphere. Now, first things first, Terrain Party, I will export the terrain. I'm not too fancy with names. This will be a zipped file. When it exports, what I've done is I have set up obviously a mapping directory in the SDK, and I've got my little Merka there ready to go. So I've just downloaded the terrain. I'm going to be lazy and open that. I'm actually going to preview it. You do get different variations of the height maps. Okay, obviously you're not wanting to use anything that's blurry like that one. You want some good definition. And out of all of those, we have 4.1 as a winner. So I'll just drag that to my, what I call my Merka working folder. And there's my height map. Now what I need to do is capture my pretty overlay. Because I want to obviously have this over the top of my height map. To do so, I've got that pin already there. I'll throw another one down. What I want to do basically is pin the dead center of my map, and when I'm moving the pin around you can see lat and long is changing. That's important. So I've got my latitude and longitude. Give myself an idea of the scale of the map. I'm only going to do a 3K one, so what I can do is get the line tool out, and if it will let me, draw a line. Maybe that pin, hang on. Okay. Here we have kilometers. So we've got, that's fairly big. Okay, so I should be able to capture a fair area here, just bear with me. Something like this. Oh, a little bit more, come on. 3 kilometers. By 3 kilometers. Let's have a look. Now the pin mark's not entirely accurate. Like I've just thrown those lines there. If I was going to capture the center of this particular square that I've half mapped, you know, if you draw a line across, etc., you're roughly about there. But I'm not going to be too fussy. Near enough will be good enough for what we're doing here. So I'll go back to my pin because I didn't note those coordinates. That will do. That's about the center of my map. 3K each side of that will be fine. And there's my lat and long. It's a little program called Map Puzzle. What I'm able to do here is translate these coordinates into Map Puzzle. So I'm just going to be lazy, copy, paste, same again. Now here, I want my map to be 3Ks. This is saying that the actual translation here is not 3Ks. So what I want to do is I'll pump that up to 18 and I'll highlight this. Okay, 17. And the reason why I'm changing that zoom value is some base services that you use don't cope with the resolution of 18, the zoom value of 18. Let's get up to 3Ks, there we go, and what have we got here? Well, let's have a guess. Now we want to Google satellite. Let's hit preview. I'll set a path. All my very messy directories here. Okay, that's the path. Let's have a look at the preview. Alright, looks good, gentlemen. What we'll do now is download it. So just hit download, and what it will do is it will obviously take the terrain and generate us a nice size PNG file to overlay onto our height map. It does take a little bit. Almost done. 5 seconds. Beautiful. Alright. Okay, we're effectively done with that for now. What I'm going to do, I've got my height map that's captured from Terrain Party, and this picture here, it's just generically named, that's my texture. I can basically use for reference, and that's what I'll be overlaying. So this is effectively going to be my playing area, and well, I'm pretty happy with that. If I wanted to move the texture and have it more up this area, I'd obviously change my lat and long with my pin, move my pin up here, and the capture square would move accordingly. But just for the sake of this, I'm pretty happy. So now what I'm going to do is fire up Old World Machine. I've been a bit clever, and I've actually set up what I call a template. So I've got two file inputs. Threw an erosion in there because I want the baseline to be textured. Obviously this height map material that we've got here isn't going to be the final product. It's only a template to overlay whilst I build in the SDK. The overlay view allows me to see it, and this is how I'll export my relevant height map. So first things first, this file input here I'm going to use for the height map. So double click it, and I'm going to load one. Now Merca, and there's the height map from Terrain Party. Okay, now in Terrain Party, thing to note is the height map was set to 18 kilometers. Alright, so what we've done here is made sure that the relevant scaling is preserved, so I'll make sure I leave that 18k. Now I mentioned before that I wanted the map to be 3 kilometers, so when I load my picture, that's the scale that I'll be working it to. So I'll just load up the actual file itself, which is the overlay. There we have it. Now, what I like to do here as well is go into the what I call reference image, I suppose, and just have a look at the lie of the land, how the mountains are flowing. Just get a bit of an idea. Big mountain there, right, a bit of a crest. Right, this is important because when I'm in World Machine, I'm going to basically line everything up. Line up the height map with the reference picture so that the terrain matches. So we'll go into, first of all, when building, I will drop the res, because I might have to build this a couple of times to get an idea of where I'm actually heading. So I'll now go into my, highlight my file input, go into our layout view. Oops, make sure I've preview locked the file input. Go into my layout view, and is it going to work? No. What have I done wrong? Okay, that's it there. It's fine. Oh, when you import your texture, make sure you've got interpret as RGB there. If you don't have it, World Machine won't pick it up. I honestly think my World Machine might have crashed, which is always handy when you're doing a tutorial. But I can quickly recover from that. Just let me have another crack at this. There we go. Alright, so this is 18 kilometers by 18 kilometers, and I call this the reference box. If we zoom out the scale, we'll see that it is thereabouts 3 by 3. So the black art here is getting this to overlay what I think this is. This is why it's important to get a bit of an idea as to where everything is. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and at the top there I've got a few. So I need to really translate this into World Machine. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this on the other monitor so I can cheat. Have a bit of a look-see. I think I'm very close, believe it or not, with that. Very, very close. What makes me say that? I'll show you. Okay, here's our real world map again. Now, I've moved my square around and I've got the preview pane here, which shows me basically what my capture box will entail. I've got this crest here, this one, this here, this here, this. Now a little bit shy on the bottom. So it is a bit of a black art. Thinking that's looking good. Oh, that valley there is going to run right through that. So let's make sure that I'm right here. No, maybe not. Maybe not. This is sort of where it is a bit of a black art as to what we're doing. What about I reckon that will get very close. What do we think, guys? We've got this, we've got this, got a little bit of this, got upwards, we've got this mountain here. I'm going to have a crack, see what happens. So I've set my height map capture box to the area that I'm pretty confident it is. We'll match it pretty closely. Then I'll go into my layout generator here. I'll unlock the preview from there. I'll go into my file input. Double click it. I'm going to set in layout my texture. Okay, so I'll scroll down, move it up. Now that should be overlaid. Going to quickly build. I've set the world parameters to pretty low res, so it shouldn't take too long. Going to 3D. And here we go. Why is that flat? Because of that. There we go. Now, guys, what do you think about that? I think that is pretty good. Now if we cheat, go into Google Earth and have a look. We get a general consensus of being quietly happy with that. I think so. Alright, so I'm pretty happy. Now I've got a little black line there. Look, if you want to be pedantic, ouch, which I am, going into my RGB input, my picture input, set and layout, and if I zoom right in, I'll probably find that, sloppy mousing. So I just need to move, straining very hard. There we go. That should align everything up. And go into 3D view, layout, lock my preview to overlay, 3D view. Skinchy winchy black line there, but that's alright. And I'm happy. And that's the lie of the land. That looks pretty tidy to me. So now what I'm going to do, I have to build it. And I apologise up front, but this is going to take a while. 2017's a good res for a squad map in the SDK. I'll build the map. Just if we have a look at our height map, what I've done is I've set my own little erosions up and everything here. Got some rock hardness, bit of sedimentary carry. Just standard erosion, didn't want to channel it or anything particular, just pretty generic stuff. the emphasis on the mapping in Squad, I think, is on your asset placement, trees, grass, texturing on the landscape. You don't have to go too out of control, in my opinion. Some may argue otherwise, but I've set up a basic erosion node through my workflow. Now, my height map, this is basically what the bread and butter of what I'm importing. That's it there. And once I've done the build, we'll be able to see how pretty that'll look. Because at the end of the day, that's basically what you'll be seeing in the world. So I've changed my world parameters to 2017, ready for build. And how long is it going to take? It will take a while. I'm guessing probably 2-3 minutes, so you might like to just skip through this part on your video. Just mouse across until you see this little screen disappear. I'll sit here and ramble on. Perhaps I might even grab a drink. Back in a moment. Okay, still building. Again, I apologise for just sitting here looking at nothing, but I suppose what we can do, we'll go into Photoshop, and what we're doing here is we're going to combine the height map and the reference material. I keep calling it. It's the the photograph we took of the topography. So we'll do a new project. Make sure it's in color, 16-bit, 2017 to match our file size. And away we go. What we can do while we're waiting is we'll open the texture file, I call it. It does take a little while because it is rather big. So I've got that there. And then once World Machine's finished building, it's still working away, we will open the height map and put it in here as well. Once we have combined everything together, we'll save it as a PNG. I'll just call it ref again for reference material. I'll pop it into the root directory of my map, and then we'll jump into the SDK real quick, and we'll bring it to life. 62%, still building. I think on average it takes about 4 minutes to build, so if you do want to skip ahead, feel free. I'm hoping I won't digress and talk about too much whilst it's working away. Very happy with that capture though. It did take a while to work out. In particular, the hardest thing for me, being a numbers person, is this terrain party. It is very ambiguous. It hasn't got a lot of structure or satellite mapping. This is the detail as best you'll get. So if you're looking at something in particular that hasn't got a lot of what I call referencing around it, it can be a bit hit and miss to capture your landscape area. So that's again why you get the benefit of using a higher size, 18 kilometers. Grab a bigger area and it gives you more to look from to find your sweet spot as far as the topography goes. 82%, so we're getting there. Excuse me while I have a bit of a vape. Girls are being a smoker. Oh, what's this? Trying to check Facebook. Okay. 90%. Oh, gee, it's taking its time. Wouldn't mind a Quad Xeon server for doing all this. It'd be nice. Anyone wants to donate? Feel free. No, jokes. What did I say? 4 minutes. Jeez, I'm a liar. Look at that. 5 and going. It's worth the wait, guys. That's all I can say. You beauty. The fun is about to begin. So that's completed. It's done the build. And if we go back into our height map now, I'm hoping the machine doesn't crash. Nope. Oh, gee whiz, didn't really do much there, did it? There we go. You may or may not pick this up, but it has put the channeling erosion through the map. So I'm happy with that. Now, I digress, back to here. What I'm going to do is obviously export my height map. I've selected PNG, use absolute path, and I'll go to my map folder, which is, what do I call it? Mac, yes. Let's call it WM World Machine height map 1. Save. Beautiful. Alright, let's Photoshop this baby. So in Photoshop I have my template, just a white 2017 by 2017 RGB color, 16 scale, my reference map, and if you look carefully, just to quickly digress, it's obviously not 2017, but I'll get to that. We're going to open the World Machine height map. Now, Control A to select, Control C to copy, add a layer, height map, add another layer. Now, because this height map's grayscale, it might have changed the parameters of this document, so bear with me if it did. Control C for the reference picture, drop it in this layer. Now, it's not all there, so what I need to do is Control A, Control T. To transform. I've made a boo-boo. Just bear with me while I work it out. Sorry, I'm a Photoshop noob, so just bear with me. There we go. Here we have the true size of the picture. Okay, so what we want to do obviously is put all of that into our 2017 box, hold down Control T for transform, Shift to keep left and right scale, and we'll scale it back to fit our picture. If you really want to be pedantic, we can delete any unused layers, so that's nice and neat. Background, height map, and overlay. Now we're going to save it for web and devices, make sure it's PNG, I leave it at 24, that's just what I do. Save, go to America, and I will call it ref 0101. Reference material 101 if you're a binary freak. We'll take a minute or two to save. And we're done. So now, I've already set up the Merca directory. I've opened up the SDK UE editor, and it's picked up the changes, so I will import them. There's my reference material. It's going to import the height map as well. And, well, due to my laziness, the original texture and the original 18-kilometre height map source, so please ignore those two. These two are what we're working with. Now we're going to start a new project, new level, sorry. Empty level will do. And I generally like to save now, but I'll throw some lights in. Just to add a bit of atmosphere so we can see what's going on. I'll make some change to this squad sky just so we can see it. There we go. And I'm a big fan of the sun height being above the horizon. Just a little bit for the moment. That'll do. Okay. Clear my filter. Go to my Merca. Alright. So what I need to do here, I haven't imported the height map or anything yet. I will create a material. There's the logic behind this, I'll get to it shortly. So, new material. We'll call it ref 0101A. I'm great with file names, absolutely awesome. Can open up the material. This is eventually what we will be overlaying on our landscape. So, what I'm going to do now is a new texture. Excuse my terrible typing. A new texture sample. And in this texture sample, we will put our reference material. And that is our base color. Now I'm going to do something here a bit off tangent. Sometimes when you do actually put this all in, it can look a bit shiny. I can actually see some shine there. So I'm going to add a constant to add some roughness to our map, just to take that off. Give it a value of 1. And just while I am in here, the last thing I need to do is I'm going to set this texture to be the correct size. So we just go to landscape, layer coordinates. We're going to link that to our UV node on our texture. And then in landscape coordinates, we tell it the mapping scale, which is this, 2017. Set it is, and now I'll save. Alright, that's done. I shall close that off. Landscape, let's import. We're going to import from file. Oh, sorry, my eyes are very sore and I'm having trouble navigating. Merca. And there's our world machine height map. Okay, that's the original height map, the original screen capture of the overlay, the reference material we created in Photoshop, and the original height map. There it is. Looks great. No, not finished. What we need to now do is put the reference material over the top, which will be our texture, and then we shall import. Voila. Here we have it, the UE engine, our area. Now, to be a little bit fussy, the scaling on the map's not correct by default when you put it in. So I'm just going to make a few tweaks to do that. Highlight landscape, go to the top, negative 200, bit of this here as well. And the Z value, which will be the scaling, I'm going to try 250. I want to go adventurous. I'm going to step out on a limb here, 280. And here we are. Alright, well, let us have a look. About that scale. What's my orientation here? That's about it. Oh, I just FYI, and it's a bit of a secret, don't tell anybody. I don't use a keyboard, so if you're wondering why some of my controls are a bit clunky, that is why. There we have it. Not too bad. I'm pretty happy with it. Actually, that's what I was looking at. Yeah, sorry for driving you crazy with my mousing, but okay, two height fields there. That a little bit in the center. That a little bit in the center. Over here. This section here. So there we go. Pretty darn accurate, if you don't mind me having a bit of a gloat and saying so. Sorry, I'm just sitting back here admiring my work. Not bad for a bit of a tutorial there. Look, sorry it was 37 minutes long, guys, but we had 6 minutes of build time in that, and there was a little bit to go through. There is a lot of things there that I didn't go into extreme detail, like how to set up your nodes and stuff on World Machine. That should be hopefully pretty fundamental stuff everyone's aware of. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you guys, if you're interested in implementing real-world mapping to the SDK, take it on board. Before I do go, what you can do is, when you're building, this is what I call the reference material. So all this stuff here, the roads and rivers and compounds, they're there overlaid as a picture just for me to reference. All right, that's where I'll be splining my roads through and stuff like that. Pop another base texture in there, duplicate one from somewhere else or create one. And what you can actually do is, in your landscape, you can toggle between the two textures. So, oops. That'll allow you to flick between how the map is actually looking and how you want it to overlay with assets. Enjoy, and thanks again for watching. Cheers, guys.